The night air over Seoul shimmered with camera flashes and whispers. Park Seo-joon stood beneath the pale glow of the red carpet lights. Calm, composed, untouchable. Yet behind that perfect smile was a story few ever saw, a secret written in glances and silence. It began on a rain-soaked film set. He was the seasoned actor. She, the rising star with eyes that spoke like poetry. From the moment So-hee stepped into frame, something shifted. The kind of invisible spark that directors can't plan, that scripts can't contain. During filming, their chemistry became the heartbeat of every scene. Crew members noticed how his gaze softened when she laughed, how her voice grew quieter when he looked her way. They said it was professionalism. The truth was something far deeper. Late nights turned into quiet conversations. Between takes, they shared coffee, secrets, and the kind of silences that said more than words ever could. On screen, they played two lovers torn apart by time. Off screen, they were two souls trying not to fall too hard too soon. When filming wrapped, so did their excuses to see each other. Rumors began, articles about unspoken affection and undeniable tension. Both denied it with calm professionalism, but the truth lingered between them like a scent you can't wash away. Months later, they met again at an awards ceremony. The crowd cheered as they exchanged polite smiles, but under the flash of cameras, their eyes betrayed them. In that instant, the world faded. And for a heartbeat, it was just them again, standing in that rain-soaked set, lost in a scene that never ended. Their love was never loud. It was built from stolen moments. A shared umbrella after a storm, a text sent at midnight, a quiet walk when no one was watching. They learned that fame demands distance, but love demands truth. So they chose silence. For the world, Park Seo-joon and So-hee became colleagues. Two professionals who had once shared a beautiful story. But behind closed doors, they still met in the spaces between work and destiny. A hidden romance that existed in the margins, not the headlines. There were nights when he'd drive through the quiet streets of Seoul just to see the lights in her apartment flicker. There were mornings when she'd wake to find a single flower on her doorstep. Always the same kind, the one from their first shoot together. They didn't need to say, "I love you." It lived in the pauses, the way her voice trembled when she said goodbye, the way he always turned around one last time before walking away. But love that hides too long begins to suffocate. As their careers grew, the distance did too. Schedules clashed, time became cruel, and the public's eyes never stopped watching. What once felt magical began to feel impossible. The final break came quietly. No arguments, no tears, just understanding. "Maybe we were meant to meet," she whispered. "But not to last." He nodded. "Then let's end this beautifully." That night, he walked her home in silence. The streetlights painted their shadows across the pavement, two figures close, yet destined to drift apart. Months passed. He poured himself into new roles, each one a reflection of her, the quiet woman in his memory. She found comfort in her art, her acting now tinged with something achingly real. Every time she cried on screen, fans felt a truth they couldn't name. At an award show years later, fate reunited them. She presented an award he won. When she handed him the trophy, their hands brushed, brief, electric, unplanned. The audience saw two professionals smiling for the cameras. But behind those smiles were years of what-ifs and unspoken longing. After the show, they met once more, this time away from the crowd, on a quiet balcony overlooking the city. She asked softly, "Do you ever think about us?" "All the time," he said. "But maybe thinking is all we can do now." She smiled, sad, beautiful, final. "Then think of me kindly." He watched her walk away again, her figure fading into the city lights. And though his heart ached, he knew that what they shared was something rare, not meant to be owned, only remembered. Years later, when both were older and quieter, an interviewer asked Seo-joon about love. He smiled faintly and said, "Some stories aren't meant to end in marriage or forever. Some are just meant to be felt deeply, once." And perhaps that's all it ever was. A love that existed like a film scene you replay endlessly, knowing how it ends, yet unable to stop watching. They say every great love leaves behind an echo. For Park Seo-joon and So-hee, it was never about the moments captured by cameras, but the ones the world never saw. A secret, a silence, a memory that refused to fade. Even now, when fans rewatch their old drama, they say something feels too real, like the emotion wasn't acting at all. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the truest part of both of them, caught forever between fiction and feeling. Because some romances don't end when the credits roll. They linger, in glances, in whispers, in the spaces between what's said and what's felt. And somewhere in the quiet hum of Seoul's midnight air, if you listen closely, you might still hear them. Two hearts that loved in secret and in silence forever. Years later, Seoul looked different. Brighter, faster, almost unrecognizable. Yet, in certain corners of the city, time seemed to stand still. On one quiet spring evening, Park Seo-joon found himself walking through the streets near the Han River, the same place where he and So-hee once shared coffee after filming. He hadn't meant to stop there. His car had simply slowed, as if pulled by memory. He saw the small cafe where they used to hide behind sunglasses and laughter. It had changed owners, but the bell above the door still chimed the same way. For a moment, he stepped inside, half expecting to see her sitting by the window with her sketchbook. She wasn't there. But her memory was. The waitress handed him a latte, and as he took the first sip, he noticed something carved faintly into the corner of the wooden table. "Once we met here, and that was enough." He smiled, knowing exactly whose handwriting it was. Across the city, So-hee stood in a gallery surrounded by her own art, paintings filled with muted colors and blurred figures. One canvas in particular drew attention. Two silhouettes beneath a streetlight, facing opposite directions. She titled it, "Still Ours." When asked about its meaning, she simply said, "It's about learning to love without needing to hold on." That night, both looked up at the same moon. Different places, same sky. And though miles apart, it felt like they were standing together again, the way they once were before the world demanded they let go. Perhaps love like theirs never truly ends. It just changes form, becoming the quiet inspiration behind every role he played, every emotion she painted. And somewhere in the city's rhythm, in the hum of the lights, the whisper of rain, their story still lingers, unseen yet eternal. Because some romances aren't meant to be headlines. They're meant to be legends whispered in the wind.